good evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you're listening. Bragging Rights, Season 3, Episode 4.
Woo!
Yes, got it. Sponsored by Comscaff as always, and always DOST at Tribal. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hype on YouTube or wherever it is. I'm not up with all that social media balls.
I did it last week.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you hype it?
Yeah, I didn't know how to do it at first, and then I figured it out.
Is it not just a button like it used to be like a poke on Facebook?
It is on like your phone app though.
Is it?
It's just like hype, click, done.
Do you not remember poke on Facebook?
Yeah.
That was.
Do you remember the knock on MSN Messenger?
Yeah.
We just got the hand on the screen.
Anyways, we digress once again. It's a bragging rights way, I guess, isn't it? But on to our game then. Yeah, that's it. On to All FC.
Wouldn't it have been nice if you'd kept in the whoever wins goes first?
Yeah.
You could have really stuck it to us this week.
I know. Yeah, we could.
I did think of that.
Did you?
The game on Saturday.
Anyways, so the buzz was back last week. We were quite jovial last week. We felt quite excited, quite hopeful, quite optimistic as well, I would say. And then we get to Thursday night, about 9:30, 10:15. And then that bubble had well and truly burst, I think. It was very disappointing. Kind of looked like we had one eye on next week. This week now, as it is, and you can't blame us. I'd like to think we would have been a bit more professional than that, if I'm totally honest, but it wasn't to be, and yeah, we got what we got at the end of the day.
I'm going to struggle to get my point across without sounding, as if I'm trying to make excuses for Rovers, because I don't want it to be that way. There are always going to be caveats, reasons why, and go on. But I don't want. I do. I say it all the time. I say it, so that's what I'm doing. I don't want to take away from York though. I think there is definitely stuff to be pointed out in Rovers in terms of what we did and didn't do. There was definitely, we didn't adapt well to the new ruck infringement laws and rules. We didn't play to the referee. We didn't learn from our mistakes. We made stupid mistakes. One, obviously, massive one we're going to talk about in detail shortly as we go through the game. All these things, and one eye perhaps on this week now, on the World Cup Challenge, but that shouldn't take away from the energy and the passion that York brought and the game that they played.
Oh yeah,
I think that
not.
People are going to go on, and I won't ignore them and I won't shy away from them talking about requesting an easy game. What Rovers requested was, could we play one of the three teams that came up, just in terms of that it might be a less bruising encounter ahead of.
What they actually requested?
They never used the term easy game.
I thought they requested a Thursday night game.
They requested a game that gave them as long as possible to rest in between. So Thursday night, we was probably going to be the opening game of the season anyways, being the champions. And then they also said, if possible, could we play one of the three teams that came up? Now, you can obviously gather from that we are probably looking for perhaps an easier tie. Obviously, it didn't work out that way. But we as a club, and Willie Peters never used the term easy to my knowledge. If he did, I'm wrong. But that's what came about. Now, York came with a game plan. They came with an energy. They came with an attitude. And they came with something that I'd like to see us repeat in the World Cup Challenge, which is call us the underdogs. We are not. And when I say I don't want to take away from their defensive effort, particularly in the first half, was fantastic. They shut down our plays and our repeated attacks on their line fantastically in a way that I think most clubs would be proud of. Some people say stilted Rovers offence. I saw quite a few comments online using our favourite word of clunky. But the reality is they defended 32 play the balls in their own half from us when we was attacking them. And let's not take away from that. And when things went tits up in the second half, they did not shy away from taking chances with both hands and coming back to beat us. So they deserve all the credit in the world. Now, do I think we was poor? Yes. Do I think we had one eye on this week? Absolutely. And am I, as I've already stated to start this little segue, am I disappointed with our attitude and with the way we went about stuff? Yes. But don't let that take away from York, who would deserve the plaudits and deserve the win.
You say all that, and I don't want to jump onto a next section. Through all that, you still built an 18.6 lead up, and in my eyes at that time, I thought the game was done. I thought York were slowly fading. Obviously, we know what got the tails up in the end, and obviously you'll get onto that. But I felt like you'd done the hard part. You'd weathered that storm for the 50, 60 minutes that there was putting up a massive fight, and you built an 18-6 lead, and you was comfortable, I thought.
Yeah, I was going to actually allude to that because it feels like we thought the job was done, as you've just said there, Dean, and also that we sort of took our foot off the gas a little bit. It was like, right, we can just coast to the finish now. But York had other ideas, and you've already mentioned that, Josh, and fair play to him. I think it was about 60 minutes in, Jimmy put a message in a group, before you, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact words, before York start to fade, can we just acknowledge what a good performance it's been?
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's an 80-minute game. And now I'm eating them words because York played for that full 80 minutes.
But I sent that as well before the sin bin.
Yeah,
as well.
Yes, it was.
And I don't think we can just attribute that change of sort of momentum just to that sin bin either. I think every single game we saw through every single game, the way that these new rules are coming about, it was apparent in every single game. Every minute that I watched was
much to Dean's disdain.
It can just flip because you give away a 6 again or a penalty that you weren't expecting to give away because you're just not used to the way the rules are this season, and I think that played a big part in it as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. But like Josh said, it's not to take away from York. They fought. They were 18-6 down, and the heads didn't go down. They kept fighting, and that's what they're going to need to do throughout the season if they're going to have a proper tilt at having a successful season, I would say.
Absolutely. There was two game plans. One that York stuck to for the best part of 80 minutes, and a game plan that really took us probably 40-45 minutes to really get into. And that's when our attacking shape started to take a little bit of a better hold. We started to score a few. It looked like we were starting to overpower. Their game plan, which was a bit more disruptive, which was built on strong D, but being disruptive as well, was based around a couple of players that need to be called out. And one of them, maybe I get this wrong, but I love seeing players go back to clubs that cast them aside. You had a player that did this to you on Saturday, and Sam Wood seems to hate Rovers. I genuinely
put that in the group chat.
Every time I look, I feel like he hates us. So he was one of them that always gets up to it and plays to a level. I feel in games against us, he plays better than any other game I've seen him in. He always seems to look as if any team in Super League would want him. I mean, I watch him in other games and I think, yeah, you're a good larker, but a Wigan had never come for you. So there was him for one. There was McShane, doing his usual, dominating, being fantastic. He made Burgess look a fool in the first half of their opening try, where Burgess, for me, redeemed himself in the second half after a poor second half. But he didn't trust the man inside him, which is unusual for Budgie. And that's because he didn't trust Gilly, which is unusual for their pairing, and he rushed the line and left a massive gap. McShane's experience, he saw that, went right, there was the thing. But the other player I want to talk about, and this is going to lead us into what everyone's waiting to talk about, which is the Mikey incident, is the game plan that Harris brought, which was to niggle and attack and go down on Mikey. Fantastic, so well done. Mikey Lewis proved to us last year that he won't get involved in these petulant performances anymore. He won't get dragged down very often into them. He'd matured, and it doesn't matter what you throw at him, he's going to come back and he's going to let his game and his performance prove him right and win games. And then on Thursday night, he threw it out the window and went back to the Mikey from 18 months, 2 years ago. There was a lot of instances that I was bemoaning in the first half, especially a couple where we got done for pinging the kicker late, and the ones on Mikey was missed. And I'll talk about one that's doing the rounds on social media, which is talking about Mikey biting Harris. That isn't what happens. What happens is Harris digs his forward into Mikey's forward on the ground, and Mikey pulls him close and says something to him. There's no evidence of a bite. You can take a still photo and make it look like whatever you want. Look at how bad the Caesar high tackle looks on a still photo that we'll talk about in your game.
If there was a bite, Harris would have gone mental.
Yeah.
But Harris had the better of Mikey Lewis for up until the incident. He was running at him, there was having a back and forth, and Mikey got caught in the wrong way, got petulant, showed his immaturity, wasn't having a great game. We was lucky as a team that Jez Litton passed his HIA and was able to carry on, because he was far and away our only player that played to his performances of last year. The rest of the players all had something questioning over them. But Mikey didn't let it get in his head, where after we scored, he threw the ball at Harris.
Told him to politely go forth and multiply as well. And
it was just not needed. And then
it was a push. He pushed him, didn't he? Because Harris was near the the try. Was it Whitbread's second try? He pushed him, and I thought, well, he's pushed him. And then he went back again to start giving him the verbals, and you just think, why? What's the point?
No, the sledging goes on in the game. There was no need for it.
It started at minute 1 as well.
We did,
it wasn't just a few moments.
Well done to them. so disappointed in Mikey, so disgruntled the way it went down. Well, the actual incident, the trip, was a build-up of all that stuff. Before we go on to what's happened, I want to be the first to say that I think Mikey deserved a ban for it. I think deliberately tripping should come with a ban. Whether it's not forceful, whether it's lightly done or whatsoever, I'm incredibly disappointed in the way he behaved. I want it stamped out of his game, and I thought it was completely wrong. And I won't go as far as to say that's exactly what cost us the game, but you can't deny that the way that flipped the game on its head and what the result came after that.
I got a text message shortly after it, and I got the person who sent me the text message repeated the words to me at the game, Mr. Landon. Straight away afterwards, as soon as he'd been given that yellow card, I got a text message saying, if you put Mikey Lewis's brain in a cow, it'd fucking bark. Like,
he said that at the game on Saturday, and I was giggling like a little kid.
The way that, but yeah, like you said last season, he had matured, and it just came out of pretty much nowhere. Because I mean, he didn't get down under against the Aussies whenever he was on the field. He didn't let anyone get to him then. He didn't do it in any of the derbies last year. Didn't really do it for you guys at all. And then he's got the biggest game of his club career coming up next week, and he lets little Liam Harris get under his skin.
Before we get on to his punishment...
Have they grown up with each other, though? Did they come from the City of Academy together or something like that?
They might have played...
at York.
Let me give you a direct comparison. In the grand final last year, Mikey scores the opening try. It's a great try. It's got parallels to how French did him the year before. He stands up, he looks up, he's in front of the Wigan end, and he doesn't celebrate and he doesn't mouth off, and he still gets a pant thrown at him, right? And it's Minchella that goes over and starts calling out the fans, but Mikey just walks away, lets his game do the talking. It's been, what, 3-4 months? And against York, he manages to get wound up and do this, and that is so shocking, so disappointing.
And I said earlier, the game was done. And I don't agree with what you said, that it didn't cost you the game. For me, that cost you the game. Like I said, the game was done. Harris, for me, was having a poor game. His kicking game was off. He wasn't really... He was doing OK leading York around the pitch, but I thought McShane was doing a better job for him. You missed your pills again.
My knee one goes off at 6.
Oh, OK, fair enough.
I actually put in the group chat, just on what Dean's saying, I put in the group chat, how does Harris get into that... I know he's captain, but how does he get in that squad over Richardson?
Probably because he's captain.
Yeah, maybe so.
But
18-6 up, Harris puts in a nothing kick just for field position, and then he does... I just could not fathom why he did it. There was no pressure on him, there was no nothing. It was just... it was
I think he
pure
thought he could get away with it.
We need to talk about... I know we thought that. We just need to talk about the fact... So we know now that we've gone through disciplinary procedure today, and Mikey has not received a ban for this. I've talked a lot. Let me say a couple of things and let you guys jump in with it, just so I can explain where it comes from, the decision. The decision, I've already said I think Mikey should get a ban for a deliberate trip. However, by the letter of the law and by the rulings, no ban is the correct call. And some of the comments online is that, I like this one, this comes from a Wigan fan online. I'd say the issue now is that they've made the disciplinary needlessly complex. From my understanding, Lewis gets a grade C, that's 5 disciplinary points. On the assumption he has no points carried over from last year, which is correct, he wouldn't get a suspension because 6 points is what triggers a suspension. And now, because they're reduced by 75% immediately, rather than
served a ban.
Once he's served, it goes down again. So he was never going to end up with a ban unless they gave it the one, but tripping is a grade B or a grade C, depending on what it is. It didn't cause an injury, and it looks like the way it's come down is that they've said these deliberate attempts, but without high force or high intent of injury. As in the way they can say a high shot to the head can be without intent.
I think it can be a D.
Caesar later on.
I think it can be a D if it was intentional with high force and it caused an injury.
Yeah. But it can be a D. And like I said a minute ago, it was kind of like Mikey thought he could get away with it, as in it was a coming together.
Every game's got 6, 8 cameras every game.
It's easy for us to say it with hindsight and seeing the multiple replays. But he's making that decision in that moment. And if his head's already gone, he's thinking, I can get away with this. And
I still don't know why his head would have gone though.
Harris made the absolute most of it by rolling around like a footballer, I might add.
And Mikey tried to feign a bit of an injury.
Yeah, he did.
Knowing he
I was just going to say
Embarrassment, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
absolutely. Harris made the most out of it. I think if Harris had got straight back up, that's just a penalty. I don't think it's a yellow card. I think because he's rolled around, it's a bit different. But for people who are complaining, there are some comparisons from last season. So Liam Watts did a trip against Hull KI in round 25. He got grade B, 3 points. And Matty Lees last season, I'm not sure what round it was, but he also did a trip, and I think that was also against Hull KI, and he only got a 1 point, which was grade A. So it varies on, it's how they see it.
It's in line with the rules. There's going to be issues and people not liking and saying it's because of the World Cup challenge. As I've said, I would like to have seen him take a ban from it. I think he needs to learn a lesson. And what you're going to see now is, I think last year the disciplinary was too harsh. They've over-ramped it, and they've re-ramped it, and overruled what we did last year for this year. And now it's gone a bit the other way, where you're not going to see players getting big bans for 4, 5, 6, 7 games. You're going to see incidents this year that you think, or we think as fans are worthy of 1 or 2 matches that are going to get none. But by the letter of the law, it's correct. My final thing on this, on the Mikey incident, I want to say before Craig will close out for how disappointed we was, is all credit as always to Peters. His post-match comments were fantastic. I truly trust that he can get the best out of Mikey when he needs to. And the way he didn't shy down from it, he stood up, called him an idiot and said what needed to be done and said that he'll learn his lesson. If he is banned, he's banned, blah, blah, blah. And Peters did not shy away, and I really respected that from him.
Made his bed in line, I think, was a...
Yeah, one thing he's always done, Peters, is he's been straight down the middle. He's open, and he's honest, and he's candid, so we can't really complain about that, can we? But yeah, massively disappointing overall. Was it expected? Depends who you ask. It was one of those, but I do want to give a shout out to the York fans as well, because I would say they were not far off outnumbered on their own patch, and they made so much noise. And after the game, they were magnanimous in victory, and you can't ask for more than that. A few of us were stood by the bus waiting to get on. Saw a couple of York fans that was dancing, singing, obviously a bit drunk. Come over to us, shook our hands. Was just an all-round friendly thing, which was real nice, because usually it's... But someone near me went, "Oh, look at them, it's like they've won the fucking World Cup final." I went, "Well, that probably is their cup final. They're playing the champions at home, first game of the season."
The first top-flight league.
First ever top-flight game.
Bragging Rights is proudly sponsored by Comscaf. Hull's own Comscaf have been keeping things safe and steady for over 30 years, providing professional scaffolding services nationwide. If you need a team you can trust for your next project, big or small, head to comscaf.co.uk or give them a call on 01482 782 181.
On to our game then.
Yes. Nice start to the season.
Yeah. Beating a promoted team's not for everyone, is it?
No, not
Even
going back.
Wakefield failed as well, didn't they?
Didn't they?
What an end that was.
Oh yeah.
But no, about ours.
What an ending yours was as well, but you'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, get straight to the end.
It was a frustrating one. I'll give it that. It wasn't the game I wanted to watch. But again, I think a lot of that comes to interpretation of rules. I'm not going to bag on the refs. I think, contrary to what most people have heard say, I think the refs did a good job. They've got an hard job. But I don't like the ruck rules. It makes for not a very entertaining game, in my opinion, but we did what we needed to do at the end of the day.
I said it last week when we was previewing the game, get the job done. And at the end of the day, we got the job done. It wasn't pretty.
Just. It
Just,
says
yeah,
just
I
there.
did put
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Which it was.
Yeah.
And it was, but it was, I don't know what it was like for a neutral, but I did it come across as an entertaining game? I don't, it wasn't, quality-wise, I don't think it was the best, but it was quite, I watched it back and I quite enjoyed it, because I knew we was going to win it, but it was...
I'll be honest, out of any of the rugby I've watched this weekend, I think there was only the Wakefield-Toulouse sort of last 20 minutes where I thought, that's entertaining.
I think it's just typical opening round games. Like, they never set the world alight, maybe apart from Liam Wigan last season, which was like 1-0.
Oh, yeah,
that was just a ding-dong all the way.
Exactly,
That was good.
the few and far between is what I'm trying to say.
But that would only have been appreciated by the type of fans like
Purist.
us that can appreciate.
I think we said it
defensive-
on the pod after that, didn't we?
We did.
It was a purist type of game.
To answer your question though, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way to Hull whatsoever, but I found you very evenly matched. Hull and Bradford seemed very evenly matched, and I know it's reflecting the scoreline. Caveat as always from me. Every single game in the Super League this opening weekend was separated by at least, less than 16 points. So there was no big blowaways anyways whatsoever, but you both seemed evenly matched, and I think Hull looked a little bit as though, for me, a couple of your older players, a couple of players that stood out last year seemed to have quiet games. I think Caesar wasn't at his best. I don't think Hardacre was particularly at his best. You know, I think he missed a tackle for one of the tries that wasn't like him. So there was a couple of instances like that, but at the end of the day, you still showed some great class. You had some fantastic performances from people like Price, who was fantastic on the day, and you got the job done. And what matters is picking up the 2 points in round one. What was probably surprising for many people was that it did seem evenly matched. And I don't know if that's more a reflection. I can't decide if that's a reflection on. I don't think you showed everything that you had to offer. I know he was missing Arthur and people like that, so it wasn't your best. And I also think Bradford did what York did, and also what Toulouse did. They was up for it.
There's something I picked up on. I thought about. Was there? We had 2 different games last week going into facing each other. They had a tough tie at London. We had a walkover at Salford. We've had quite a few of them older players, as you mentioned. We've had quite a few of them coming back off injuries and rehab this year over the off season. So maybe it's not too. We've got to expect it might take them a little bit more time to get into the groove this year.
We'll grow into it.
We'll grow into it, and
I
that's
think
why I'm just satisfied we got the 2 points.
Absolutely.
That's
Having
the
a
main thing for
disturbance
me.
between our halfbacks training as well. I think for the majority of pre-season it was Arthur training alongside Kemp, and then Caesar's come back into it, and then you've got Arthur training alongside Caesar, and then Arthur gets injured, and then you end up having Caesar alongside Kemp, who probably hadn't had that much time alongside each other. Add to that, we've still got our ball playing forwards out in Asiata and Bell. Everyone knows the way that Cartwright plays, the way that all play right now. You play with a ball handler at 13 who goes in at first receiver and he ships it straight off to your 7 or your 6. If you watch that game back, watch any of our games from last season when we've not got Asiata in there at first receiver, or this season Bell, to do that, everything slows down. We said it a couple of times, it's so slow.
Yeah.
And it breaks the way that we play.
Luckily for us on Saturday, and we'll get on to him because you've just mentioned him, Will Price, he was able to step up when he needed to step up and put in what I would say is his best performance in a whole shirt so far. I know he's only played a couple of handfuls of games, but if that's the sort of level we're going to get, especially in round one, he's only going to get better and better, then I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on this season.
Is it a concern or is it tactics?
For what?
Because I thought he was far and away your best player
Yes.
on the day. He showed what we spoke about last year, what I said last year. This guy could be man of steel if he could keep it up. I even thought, I'll say it and eat my own humble pie in it, at times his defence was better. It was lacking at times, but at times as well it was much better. But why does he go down so much? Is it tactics? Was it tactics to try and slow down, to try and get breathers? Is he genuinely just a bit, he takes knocks easy? Because it was noticeable how often he went down.
We was talking about it in the group, anyway. It's like phantom injury. It's like, I'm not really injured, but I'm just giving everyone else a breather. Get the physio on, give us some water. I don't know.
All I'll say is, as someone that played rugby and didn't make a lot of tackles, when you eventually do make a tackle, fucking hurts.
If you do it properly.
On his tackling though, there was a breakthrough and he made a great tackle. There was 2 try-saving tackles. Both of the other ones come after the Martin initial try-saving tackle. Clearly it looks like there's something being worked on there, because he wasn't just he wasn't attempting to make a tackle and getting shrugged off. He was stopping the players, fully starting and finishing the tackle, which is great to see from your fullback.
Complete contrast to last season where, like you said, when he got stepped by Kudjo, and it was almost like he just didn't want to put his body there.
Yeah, he moved out the way of Kudjo in that one.
Complete contrast. Like the 3 tackles, I think it was win out wide, and then he made the The one on the line just after
That
Martin.
one, that one was unbelievable.
No,
And then the
next
one later on,
one.
when he just threw himself in front of the player to
The guy
stop
was
him
twice
dead on
his
the line.
size.
Yeah.
And he stopped him
Put
from the
his
yard out.
body on the line.
It was
really
Brett
impressed with
Hodgson
that.
style, like, I'm just going to throw my body
honestly,
in the way.
it's so promising because this is what was missing. Obviously, it was can he stay fit and healthy?
Yep.
And defensively, he's so suspect. It was so promising. It must make you exciting. That's why I'm not trying to make a jab when I say it. Do we think he's going down for little knocks? Because they are knocks, and he's just a bit of a.
I think he's getting a breather, and I
or
think
is
he's
it
helping
breathers
his
in his
tactics.
tactics?
I think the
it's
one where he
tactics.
looked at when you mentioned it, when he was holding his shoulder, I think the way that he just threw himself into that, he possibly just got a dead arm, mate. 'Cause
Yeah, a little bit of
it looked
stinger.
like he was just like trying to wake his arm back up.
Shows to me is though he's confident in his own body, which after having 2 long layoffs last season is a big thing. You don't throw yourself into tackles like that if you're not confident. You're not going to.
I knew he was confident in his own body. He dyed his hair bright blonde.
I was going to say, has he lost a bet or something?
No, he said if I'm having my hair this colour, I've got to perform.
Which is fair.
Like Rovers, the dyeing of the blonde hair used to be because you'd missed a social event or you'd missed a training, you hadn't
Like
gone
a
and helped
forfeit,
out.
wasn't it? Yeah.
That's when like
Oh no,
Fox,
he did it by choice.
Fox, Charlie, Newton. When you used to see them with blonde hair, it's because they'd messed up and they hadn't done something they should have done for the club. So if it's not, he's just done it for a fashion
He's probably
choice.
just
fair
doing it for
play.
a fashion choice. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me nowadays with these young kids.
To be fair, have you seen he looks like a bit of a joker. Have you seen that video where somebody asked him to slip animal noises in it? The fans started.
Yeah.
Wow, that
Brilliant.
stitches.
Yeah, good fun,
So
that.
it just seems like a bit of a joker to have around the club, which is obviously good for morale.
You've got him and Davey Litton. Apparently, they're just the jokers of the group.
Well,
by the
Davey
sounds
and
of it.
Mikey are friends. That tells you all you need to know, doesn't it?
We've got to speak about the right edge because we got pigged up on that quite a few times, and it was a cause for concern. It was
Not
couple
the
of
right
things.
edge we'd expect, though.
no, but there's a couple of things, and I know he's vastly experienced and he's been around the block God knows how many times. But you've got Ardaker jumping back into centre, which he hasn't played hardly any of it. You've got Kemp coming in last minute, and I just think there was, and then you've got Batch who's brand new to that edge as well. There wasn't a lot of trust, and I think that's where it comes down. I don't think these kids are bad defenders or bad readers or anything like that. I just think there was a lack of trust and a lack of knowledge about who you're playing with.
Bit of teamwork.
There was a
right.
quote, and I don't know if it was one of you guys who put it in. Oh, Kemp can't tackle for summer. Kemp made a tackle. He made his tackles. He just let the noses get through.
It was Susan.
Was it Susan? So I thought that was a bit harsh. He did make a few bad reads, but so did most of our players on the pitch.
So Ardaker made one for Wins first try.
Yeah.
That was a really
but
bad
then-
And that's what I was going to say. It's not always one player.
No.
When we talk about people, sometimes it is. Sometimes one player misses a tackle, one-on-one. But most of the time in rugby, it's a combination.
It is.
And there were times when Kemp looked a bit undersized and a bit out of position, which he hadn't done in previous appearances, and it wasn't his fault that he was in the wrong place.
He was looking at the other Kemp.
For me, if I'm going to point fingers for Wynn's first try, I think Kemp doesn't have the trust of Batch inside, or I find when the halfback is too close to the second row, they're a bit scared to be left exposed on their own because they're halfbacks. Maybe scared's the wrong word. But then he left, and that's how Wynn got in. And the Wynn's second try really irked you, I know that.
It really pissed me off, yeah.
We had the cover. Ardaker was covering Wacker Blake, I think it was, and Barron was saying, "You cover him, I've got the winger." And then Barron jumps in and doesn't trust Ardaker to make the tackle. Which
Barron's pointing to Ardaker as if to say, "You take him, I've got him, I've got him, I've got him." And then last second, just as Wacker Blake passes the ball, Barron cuts inside to help Ardaker, and I'm like, trust Ardaker. Ardaker would have made that.
For me, that was a really interesting one because we saw last year how Hardaker had become this, dare I say, almost father figure to these young players, to Barron, to Martin, to the Kemps, it looks like. I mean, even the picture that I think Will Price posted after the match, it was the young guns and Hardaker. It was them I've just named, and Hardaker almost as if like he's got that role. And they have played together, maybe not in exact positions, but enough last year that I was a bit shocked by that one. I thought, why have you just lost trust there? What's made you step in?
Yeah, it
You
was.
could understand it if it was the other way around, maybe,
Especially-
with Hardaker not trusting Barron to make
Yeah, still a bit young.
But there was
Yeah.
communication there. Barron
Yeah.
was talking to him. You take him. There was definite communication there, but lack of trust, I think.
There was a bit of something that irked you after that, wasn't there? Or was it Landon?
Is it the ball throw into the crowd?
We win.
Yeah.
I said to him, was he trying to be Mikey Lewis?
throwing the ball into the crowd.
Well,
He's trying to work the Hull fans, and like we haven't really got out against him.
He's got beef against you, obviously.
Yeah, no, it's one of them
Same
things.
as
It's
Sam
like,
Wood.
He's like Sam Wood.
he was a young lad. He didn't cut it. He got shipped off. He left. He's been playing at what I think is his level, which is top level Championship, maybe lower level Super League. And that's kind of where he fits in the rugby league world for me. Like, I don't think there was any malice in him leaving. I liked him when he played for us, but it's just the way that he tried irking the crowd, and everyone was just like, "Fuck you."
We've got
Like Cassell last season.
we've only got 2 minutes left. Quickly on Sow and Caesar incidents. For me, I thought they had enough time. I've seen you put this in a group chat earlier. They had enough time to review the Sow incident and make a decision on the pitch. I don't know why it went on report. I do agree with a ban. I'm not sure 15 points. I think that's quite excessive because it wasn't.
I thought
deliberate.
of one game.
Yeah,
would have been
I thought
enough. There was no malice
I thought
in
it
it.
was careless. He
Wasn't
hit
malicious.
No, it wasn't malicious. Caesar was, I think, because he left the floor. He didn't jump, but his feet sort of left the floor. What I think saved him was, it was more of a hook around instead of a swinging arm, and he didn't just jump off the play. He sort of kept hold of him on the way down. So
Almost cuddled him to the ground.
yeah, something like that. We'll go.
Just
with
want
that.
can I mention on this one? The Sal one, agree with you. I think one match would have been right. He's injured somebody. It's
I think
careless.
that's gone against
I think
him.
careless is the right word rather than malicious. I was really impressed with the Bradford coach Haggerty's comments afterwards. He spoke about that and he alluded to the fact that he would have liked that to have been a yellow card. He actually said the words, if one of my players, if Bradford had done that and we got a sin bin, I would have been okay with that.
Said it to him on
Right.
the day. I said he's going off.
That isn't what I liked about it, because this isn't about bagging Caesar. What I liked what he said, he went, but what I've got in there, in that changing room now, isn't a group of players that are disappointed because a player didn't get sin-binned, and I haven't got a group of players that are disappointed because they ran Hull close and because they had a good game. They're disappointed because they actually played to a level where they could have won that game, and I've got players in there that feel that they maybe should have won that game. And it's only a couple of things that maybe didn't go our way or that we didn't execute properly, I'm paraphrasing here typically, that meant we didn't win. And that's why they should be disappointed. We haven't come up to merely beat some teams. We've come up when we should be beating teams. And I was really impressed with that. It showed the mentality of a club that's come up and where they want to be. And it made me rethink, well, actually, what did I see? I did see two teams that played at a similar level, and it could have gone either way. Good on them.
We just had that little bit more at the end.
Just to clarify as well then, when I said I thought he was going to get yellow carded, I thought he was on about Sow. I said in the moment I thought Sow would get a yellow card for that. But
Yeah. Just to finish on, stadium, 16,653 fans in. I said there's about 1,200 Bradford fans.
Biggest for over a decade.
Yeah,
Biggest non-derby crowd for over a
opening
decade.
crowd for over a
Yeah, which is
decade.
impressive.
Great crowd. We noticed a few changes around the ground, didn't we? Some new banners going up and things like that. So that
See
was
some
good
more
to
on
see.
Thursday as well.
I've already seen them. I went there today.
I know a girl that works as part of the events team, and she's an FC fan, and she's like, this is going to be the longest bloody weekend of my life.
Do it.
So Tribal this week, obviously. Thursday night, 7:30, you've got Rovers versus Brisbane. Tribal have cancelled the quiz, which is outrageous. And
It's the biggest money spinner of the month.
it's up to them, innit? They have only got limited seats as well, though, so if you want to come, ring up, book a seat. And then they've got Wigan versus Hull on Saturday, 8 o'clock kick-off for that. Both games will be on the big screen. Don't forget to bring your season ticket if you've got one, and get 15% off your bill as long as there's food and drink on it.
Wonderful. Let's get some quick news from around the rugby league world.
News from around the world.
Who
I'm going
knows?
to clip that. And use
We
it
need
next
I'm
some-
week.
going to use a different one every week. I'm just going to
No,
say
you're not. I'm just going to clip it and give it to him.
I say it quick every week. I'm trying to be
Don't
quick.
need, innit?
5 minutes, let's get some headlines out.
Bosh.
Number one, Jackson Hastings. He's going to face no further action for his attempt to climb over the advertising hoardings at the end of this Saints Wire game to remonstrate with a fan who he called, in his words not mine, a clown, who was behaving inappropriately near his partner and young child.
Just before
Yeah, it was about
that,
his
have you
kid,
noticed
wasn't it?
that they have the friends and family and relatives from the away team in the home end at Warrington? So you've got the away fans at the terrace end. the rest of the family and friends are over the far end, behind the other sticks. I don't get why. Why not in the main stand down here? So you're near. You don't have to go over to the Warrington fans. Your family's kept with the rest of the away section. I don't get it. I noticed that last year.
Could just buy a ticket.
Yeah, but you clamp that out.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, can't be very comfortable for him. No, I understand. Some good news potentially. There is growing interest in Halifax Panthers making a return. Obviously, bad news we spoke about last week. It does look now there are a number of interested parties that are expressing their interest in getting some cash together, coming through and helping revive the club. They're still not a club right now, to be blunt, and we don't know what's going to happen, but the deadline for that is this coming Tuesday, so tomorrow's recording. By the time this is released, the deadline will have passed. So hopefully by next week we'll hear some more, and Halifax might be a club that's going to, re-rise from the ashes.
I hope so.
Bit of signing news, bit about the Blue this one. Some injuries over at the Catalan Dragons. A man who's only just found himself out of Super League has found himself straight back in the Super League, and that is Catalan have signed Matty Russell. I couldn't actually be bothered to list the sheer number of teams, including FC, that he's played for in his past, because there's a lot of them. But Catalans have signed Matty Russell to come back with immediate effect.
Classic use of the word journeyman.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Good player on his day.
Yeah.
Older than I thought as well. I believe 32 or 33.
Is that all? I thought it would have been
Younger
older.
than you thought.
He's younger than I thought, yeah.
That's why we do it.
Aye.
He came to us as a kid, didn't
I think
he?
it was like 2010, 11 when he was at Hull. So.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe me just not seeing it the right way. Last couple of points then. Round one, fantastic to have in the books. I'm sure we all agree it's great just to have Rugby League back and to have Super League back on our screens.
Not great for us.
No, it's not great for some of us. There was a 90% attendance occupancy, and that includes, which means 90% of stadiums full. Fantastic to see. This also had record home attendances for York, for Wyre and for FC, so that was great to see. There was a massive amount of engagement, 21.4 million impressions, 432,000 engagements, 13.8 million video views and so on. So it's obviously what we like to see with the sport group. But I wanted to mention this because of two reasons. One person on the Super League predictor, not the one that we do, but on the Super League predictor, one person out of 9,000 players predicted the right results. That means that only one person got every result correct and backs the right winner.
I hope he put a bet on.
That is the one full house.
Can you imagine what the odds would have been on that? York winning,
Two promoted
Toulouse
sides,
winning.
yeah.
That would have been mad.
Nuts. Must have been massive. And it also
At least
comes...
14-1 in Rugby League odds.
Yeah. This isn't news as such, but it comes from me. I want to give some credit where it's due to the Super League YouTube team. I think the video highlights are much better this year already. The way that they're putting them in, the videos are 7-8 minutes long. It gives you a bit more of a feel for the flow of the game rather than here's 4 tries. Here's maybe a sin binning.
Extended highlights.
Yes, maybe not ideal. Yes, maybe not quite picking up everything that they should be, but a lot better than last year, and they deserve the credit. So there was much better to watch through for this week than there was last year already.
Yeah, I thought that because I watched the Toulouse ones and then I watched the other ones.
Final point then, not news. I'm bringing something back that was from before my time on the podcast. This comes from me, not from you guys, so it's only me, but I'm bringing back Dickhead of the Week.
That was like 2 episodes.
I've got a jingle for that somewhere.
That was also me.
You might think I should be picking Mikey for this. I'm not. I'm going to go there. I'm picking Derek Beaumont. Now,
We could have him every week.
yeah, what's going on with the
Is that
Tessie?
it this week?
Yeah, what's going on with the Tessie news situation is very complex. There have no charges being filed against him, and there is nothing more to be said on that matter from the club. At the end of the day, if there isn't a police matter going on with a player, there is no reason he can't play in Rugby League. Now, I know many people, including myself, disagree with this. There is often no smoke without fire, but if somebody's not actually proven of a crime, there's nothing you can do. So while that player's playing and having running battles with Newman and scrapping on the field and getting targeted, that's fine. Do what you want. I hope he gets shit every single game. What I don't want from a man who owns a club who does his own thing anyways, whether it's for specifically him or not, should not be playing the Rocky music in his ground when that player's involved in an infraction. He knows what's going on. He knows how the Rugby League world looks on the incident that's going on, and he knows the attention it brings. Derek Beaumont is a bellend. He always has been a bellend, and he always will carry on to be a bellend. And for that reason, that is not the right thing to do, given what goes on and given how major, whether it's right or wrong, what goes on in terms of domestic abuse in this country for women. he just makes a mockery of it. So, Dickhead of the Week that I'm bringing back.
Assumed. We have to say assumed.
I've already said there's nothing against, that's fine.
Yeah.
But when there's something like that going on, you don't add fuel to the fire by playing that, whether he says it's because there was a scrap or an incident. So he is back on as Dickhead of the Week.
What I will also say is we're also assuming it was Derek Beaumont that did it, but knowing Derek as the showman that he is,
I knew he'd say that.
It was 100% him.
Ultimately, Derek is responsible for everything that goes on in that club.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the most involved owners of a club that likes to get his finger into every pie that goes on, and I can't imagine it was done without his consent or without him knowing what's going on, or it should be something he should come out and speak about afterwards.
Yeah, he should have called it out for being inappropriate if he was against it.
Dickhead of the Week, Derek Beaumont.
Oh, yes. We can do this every week.
Strong start
Yeah.
to round one.
News over.
News over.
Right over.
Just killing it off like that, just...
Yeah, why not? We've got some listeners' lounge questions, so we have to...
But it's one question, and it's one that we didn't have time to ask last week because we need to get someone off to work. Yeah, Craig's fault. And it's not just the question that came for last week, it was something that was spoke about previous week regarding FC's ground, new ground, not new ground, and this question come in, and it was something that we didn't have time again to mention was the redevelopment of Craven Park. So this is to Jimmy and Dean. With Hull KR's latest developments around Craven Park, is there not an element of jealousy or frustration knowing Thurkill has now squashed all rumours of you moving to your own ground? And do you think this negatively affects your community growth in the local area? And does it hold FC back as a club long term? So I wanted to bring something up anyway, but I didn't.
Can I just give a couple of really quick answers to that then?
Not bothered, got a drum.
Well, you've got a long thing, you've had a long think about it, and I just want to say...
Who asked the question before you got on, by the way, do we know?
Twat bag behind the screen. I'm not jealous. I think you're doing the right thing with what you've got, so I wouldn't say I'm jealous. Frustrated knowing Thurkill squashed the rumours? No, because I also agree that we should stay at the MKM despite how shit it is, just because of the cost. And I don't think it negatively affects us. It just gives you a bigger impact with what you can do. It doesn't mean that it doesn't take away from what we can do, so it's not a negative effect on us. It just positively affects what you can do, if you know what I mean. So that's my answer. Would I like it? Yeah, of course I would. But
So I'll get into the answer to the question, but I wanted to put my thoughts across about what we spoke before. So I did put a lot of effort into it, and I have wrote a load of shit down. So, but this is something that generally comes from the heart for me. So I'll apologise if it's a bit long-winded. I'm old enough to remember the Boulevard. My first 10 years supporting Hull FC were spent there. And once you know what that feels like to have a place that you truly call home, you never forget it. Ever since we moved, I've always felt like a part of our identity has been missing. You can dress up a stadium however you want, but if it wasn't built for you, it never fully belongs to you. And for me, it's never recreated the soul we once had. I'll be clear, feeling like this doesn't mean I support my club any less. I still walk through the turnstiles, I still sing, I still back the lads. Hull FC's my club wherever we play. This isn't about loyalty, it's about longing for a home that's unmistakably ours. I understand the business side of it. Building a new ground costs huge money, and staying put probably makes sense on paper. It won't hold us back, as was asked in the question, by staying at the KCOM, or MKM, whatever it's called. And I do see what the club are trying to do to make it feel more like home. But supporting a club isn't just business. It's emotional, it's generational, it's identity. So when fans ask about a purpose-built home, that shouldn't be brushed aside. Josh said the other week, questions like this take time away from the proper questions being asked when we're talking about the fans forum. I can't agree. What's more important than the long-term home and identity of a club? Those questions come from a place of care and hope. I know Jimmy sees it differently, and that's fair. Most of his memories started after the move from the Boulevard, but that's exactly why some of us feel so strongly, because we remember what home felt like. And if I'm being honest, when I see Hull KR owning their own ground and expanding it, of course, jealousy, not bitterness, just envy of a club having a place that's truly theirs. Every fan wants that, because wanting a true home for Hull FC isn't a negative or pointless. It's about who we are and what we want our future to feel like. I know, long-winded, sorry, but...
Ooh, if I want about FC, it'd bring a tear to my eye.
I feel that much about wanting our own home.
Please,
I really do
please
feel
stop
strong.
me if I'm wrong here on this, because I think that was really well worded, Dean. I'm really glad that you've took the time and we didn't rush it last week, because I think that really sums up, and it's a really nice way to see your insights and definitely the emotional side to what is a really big question, a really big subject. You know, it definitely is. I think you've got two prime examples in front of you there of somebody who, as you've just explained in many words, has that emotion, has that feeling and knows what it's like to lose what feels like home and wants that back. But Jimmy, you're quite vocal yourself in saying several times that not only would you want that, you'd want your own home, but you understand the business reasons for not doing that. But Dean's just said something that's really interesting, that you were probably too young to really remember the Boulevard properly, or maybe haven't had as long there as Dean did, being a bit older. A lot more of your core memories have come from the KCOM, the KC, whatever, you know, MKM, whatever it's called now. And yet you're usually one of the first people to say, you know, that you've never really felt like home there. You don't like it there, and it doesn't feel great. So my question on back of that is that a worry then, that for younger fans that are coming through now that never had any experience at the Boulevard, do you worry that they're not going to be able to create those memories at that stadium because it doesn't feel like home?
Possibly. It is a weird one for me. And I get it, and I get what Dean's saying, despite the fact that the only reason I don't have memories of the Boulevard is because he was a fucking bully when we were kids, and I wasn't allowed to go, because he was there. True story.
News to me.
No idea what he's talking about.
Yeah. We'll ring my mum and ask her. No, I do. I think if we could get our own ground, it would be fantastic. If it was a viable option. But you're talking about a fella that's come in and bought the club and done a fantastic amount of stuff within the first 2 years. And then people are going at him at the first two fans forums that we've had. He's not even been at the club for 2 years.
It was the first question that was asked of him.
He's not even been at the club for 2 years, and people are already saying, are you going to give us 50 million to build a new stadium, mate? Like, no. How long would it take to make that back? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
It's not football, is it? Where you're getting 80,000
And that's why I
If
said
you
from
can
the
get-
business side of it, I get it.
The only way, in my opinion, the only way that it'll happen is if we get help from the council. And the only way that would happen is if they agree to sell the MKM to City. And I'm not against that. I know it was built for the City or whatever, but let's face it, the only club that actually utilise it to its fullest on a weekly bloody basis is Hull City. Everyone calls it their stadium. I'm a City season ticket holder. I see it more as their stadium than ours, even as an FC fan. Just sell them it and then turn around to the council and say, well, we sold the Boulevard on the premise that you would build an home for us. Like, so can you help us at least with the land? You know, something like that. That's the only way we'll get a new stadium, in my opinion. I'd love it if we did. I really would love it. But it just don't make sense.
I can't see it happening. I'm not.
It's hard because it isn't your number one priority right now, and it shouldn't be.
It's not.
There's so much more to do, and I agree with your points, you know.
But it came up in conversations the past few weeks, so I felt I had to.
I think you've answered it fantastically. I think we'll never know, but I think if you think long term, and I'm talking 20, 30, 40 years, we want rugby league to carry on being a sport. If you've got where you want your club to be, you will want your club to have their own ground. And I think there's so many ways that could happen, whether it's council help or not. Ideally, you would have City make that their own, theirs only. Maybe they go up, they're a Premier League club that can stay up there, they start getting more and more support, they look at expanding it, and all of a sudden it becomes this stadium that is truly a football ground, and there's concerts on, etc. And then you guys get somewhere else. But eventually, I think now is the wrong time for these conversations, especially for new ownership of the club. But I do
we haven't
think
even got a bloody broadcast deal for next year.
I think in the next 5 to 10 years, though, the conversation should be revisited, and you should be looking at a long-term understanding of where you're going, and will this ever be a separate stadium for you guys or not? Because I fear, and I speak to a lot of Hull fans, please give us our comments so we know, or write more questions in, but coming from your guys' opinions and people that we know, there are a lot of Hull FC fans that don't feel like it feels like home for a lot of different reasons, and something has to change about that. And whether it's going to work what they're doing now, trying to make it feel like home,
And credit to the club, because they are doing a lot of good work.
and maybe that'll work and that's all that's needed. But if it doesn't, what's the next step? And I think now is too early to be discussing that. Let's see how this plays out. But I think really well answered, Dean. I think it was really nice.
Yeah.
Jimmy, not so well answered. You just jumped in. That was good, mate.
Like I say, I want it but I'm not going to bitch about it, and I'm not jealous of what you're doing. I think what you're doing is great, and I think it's only going to enhance for the community, whether you're red and white, black and white. I think if you're getting more kids, giving more kids space to play rugby, I don't give a toss what stadium they're playing at. It's good for the game.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that you're doing what you're doing.
for the city as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Have we got any more questions?
No, that was it. I just wanted to go on to that one.
No food question from Gary.
No, that was last week.
Letting the side down.
What a letdown.
I don't think he asked, did he? I haven't read the comments this week.
I'm going to throw one in just because I'm missing the food questions. Favourite cereal? Go.
Cocoa Pops.
Good work.
Really?
Yeah.
Lucky Charms.
Yes. Just like, what cereal? Don't eat it.
I mean, I've not had Cocoa Pops in about 6 or 7
Just like
It's expensive now.
I like Weetabix and I like protein Weetabix. I do like Coke Pops as well. They're all boring. Maybe just some plain cornflakes.
On that note,
Can we move on then?
yeah. On that note, if you look at the bottom of your screen,
Santa from last week.
if you look at the bottom of your screen, you will see every now and again a nice green banner, just to point out the fact that we are supporting Might and Warriors under 9s this month. They are our monthly cause. If you scan the QR code, it'll take you to a GoFundMe page. You can donate some money towards their under 9s going to Butlins for the Rhinos Challenge. And on top of that, it is coming up towards the end of February. If you've got a cause that you want us to pick up and start promoting for March, send us a DM, send us a message on YouTube in the comments or whatever, and yeah, let us know what you've got, and we'll put 50 quid into that as well.
Yeah.
And now we get to talk
And
about...
it is a great weekend. I went a couple of years ago with my lad. The kids will absolutely love it. Not just the playing rugby against teams from all over the country, but then you've got the night do as well.
Did
inside
you
Portland.
love it?
Not really, it was too hot. I did get my Tonga hoodie from it though, so every cloud.
Every cloud.
Every cloud.
Go on then,
Speaking
mate.
of every cloud, something I never thought I'd say. World Club Challenge featuring Hull Kingston Rovers.
Just a quick question for you on this. Obviously, it's coming up a couple of days, getting a bit nervy, a bit excited. You've got your tickets?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Mine came through a while back, but they've been updated. Where are you sat?
I'm behind sticks up top.
What stand?
South.
Okay.
No, north.
It's just that my tickets have come through and I'm in the Chris Chilton East Stand.
Does it say Chris Chilton on it?
So I've deliberately waited to tell you on this because...
That's poor, considering it's a rugby game.
Rugby
and
event,
Johnny
yeah.
And Johnny Whiteley was your
associate.
coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the pictures that were taken today had Johnny Whiteley stand at the back, didn't it?
So it came through a couple of days ago, it was updated. I've got 4 tickets on here now.
Chris Chilton East Stand. I do think it will have the Johnny Whiteley banner.
I do
across
as
the
well.
top. I
But it
hope
did
so.
give me a little ragring when I first saw it, and I thought, I don't know if that's just legit, that's just the way it's organised and done. Plus
That's
these
Rovers
tickets...
digging on themselves though. Like,
Well,
he
this
is
was-
a former employee
Absolutely.
of
Is it
Yeah,
Rovers who
as
sorted
well.
the tickets?
Well, these were purchased before you even announced the renaming
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah, fair.
We
should
don't
just put-
know,
On
but
the
I
day of
just
the
saw
game,
it.
it'll be Johnny Whiteley across the top.
would
and-
think so.
Yeah.
And so it should be, absolutely. But yeah, never ever thought I would see us in this fixture. Ever. It's like...
No.
I mean, I didn't think we'd ever win a trophy going off how long I'd supported Rovers for it had not happened, but to see us playing who arguably, not even probably yet, they are the best team in the world right now. They're unplayable on the day.
Depending on what rules they play by.
Well,
Because that's the question I've got.
That is a big question.
My biggest
yeah.
gripe with the World Club Challenge has always been that we do peg it as the 2 best teams in the world right now, and that is what it is. But I always disagree. Because you've had the off-season, you've had staff changes, you've had player changes, and a lot can. And obviously we've lost our opening game, which don't help, set us up. But
But we've got minutes in the tank. on the flip side of that.
you aren't seeing the 2 teams. You are not seeing the squad that won the treble last year for us. And you're also not seeing the squad that won the grand final for the Broncos last year. All right, some years you do get where they barely have any changes or they have no changes, maybe will have happened. But the reality is, like, one of our starting props come Thursday was not playing for Rovers last year.
It would be good if they could do it like late
At the end.
October.
Me and Susan discussed this on the way here, like, because then you get in the form that you're currently in. It just makes sense.
I mean, I don't know what contracts are like in
It doesn't
Australia.
make
but
logical sense. in
Super League
logistical
contracts
sense.
go from the 1st of November until the 1st of November, so you could do it if you wanted to.
Yeah, you've got a couple of weeks at the end of October, haven't you? But yeah, really looking forward to it. Susan said, how am I feeling on the way here? And I was like, trying not to be too hopeful, because I really want to enjoy and savour the experience of my club playing in probably what is the biggest club rugby game on the planet, minus State of Origin, as we discussed quite in length last year. And I really want to enjoy it, but knowing me and the way I feel when I'm at games, I'm not going to be able to, but I am trying to, but we'll see.
You'll be all right. There's some cracking food on the concourse.
So I've heard. I'm excited.
Yeah, I've had food there before. Decent. I was thinking about this, about what I want from the game, and obviously we want Rovers to turn up, springboard after last week's poor performance, don't back down, just give it a good showing. You know, that's all you're after, really. When I started looking at what I want, when I want a competitive fixture, head in heart, I'm sort of thinking we might nick a win, and it just feels so ridiculous to say that, but I started thinking, realistically, this Broncos team, and I know how good they are, what team would I want to put against them? If I could pick up the team that won in the grand final last year, then I would give us half a chance. The way we played, so our game plan, the way we beat Wigan and the things we did. So what other teams would I pick? Well, I wouldn't pick another team from Super League last year. Call it arrogant, I don't think another team in Super League last year could have performed against this Broncos team, and I don't actually think the Rovers team could stand up to them unless we pick specific examples like the way we performed in the grand final. And so the only other team I'd probably pick is, I'd like to go back the year before and the Wigan team that won the treble. I would give the Wigan team that won the treble, the quad should say, a chance against this Broncos team. Other than that, maybe on a one-off, some teams could push them close. So what I'm asking for from Rovers is, can we refine that magic from the grand final? And then maybe that won't be enough. Maybe that's just enough to make it competitive, push them close. But I want it to be a great night. I'm the same as you. It's just to soak up and can't believe that we've made it. You know, this last 12 months has been an absolute dream for us as fans. And just to be able to play in this game is fantastic. And I don't expect everybody else in the rugby league world, in Super League, to get behind us because we're English. I don't expect all fans to get behind us.
Mentality.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's English.
We are, for this...
I think you will. I think
we are the
everyone
tallest poppy,
except
basically.
Wigan and Hull fans.
That's what we are. We are the tallest poppy on Thursday. And that's the English mentality, to chop our head off, right? I'm not asking you to get behind us. What I'm asking is for Rovers to be behind us as much as we usually are. Let's go and smash it. And hopefully, you know, we come out and we just be proud of ourselves at the end of it. Come win, come loss, come draw, come Mikey Lewis drop goal, 79th minute for a win by one.
Oh, you're not going to get sent off before then?
You don't get disciplined at the KC. We saw that, didn't we, with Stephen?
He'll get a yellow card, but...
So I've got 2 games.
But if there is a stadium in the Super League, apart from our home ground, that we know where to win, it is the K-Con. It is your place.
It is, you look at the...
We've started
history
to see
of
that last play.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and just back on your point, Jimmy, he's going to get a sin bin on the 68th minute.
He'll be back for the 78th.
We're going to be 18 points up at that point.
Okay.
And then they'll be level by the time he comes back on. He'll come back on the 78th. He'll kick a 40-20.
You thought about this a lot. You had a day off.
Just came into bed. I haven't been to bed. This is delusion. I haven't been to bed. I was on nights last night. I haven't been to bed, so
No.
it's delusion.
What did he say?
I said you would have left bar then.
Oh, yeah, you...
No, because if it's in the 79th, as long as it's before 79:30, we'll be all right.
Oh, okay.
And Mason's not with me, and I'll have my beer jacket on, so...
So you're admitting you left early last week?
No, the game had finished when I left.
Had the referee blown his whistle and he would have gone?
Yeah, he'd blown it, yeah.
Susan thinks Rovers 20-16, Budgie a try 76th minute. So on that,
That'd
which is...
be absolutely...
Let's have that, boys. You got any predictions for this? Any idea? You want
What, Liam Gallagher?
Well, let us go first. Let you two can go last.
I've already thought about it.
Genuinely, I'm not saying this because it's Rovers. Well, firstly, the set of rules that's used is going to play a big part.
We're playing by Liam Moore's rules, so
Right,
who knows
no,
what
but I
that
mean,
is.
are we playing by the Super League new ruck rules, or are we playing by what should be the actual
I haven't
rules?
seen anything. Do you know?
Because it's going to be 2 different things. If we play with them stupid new ruck rules that we've got in the Super League, I think it'd be pretty close. Because they aren't trained for that. They'll get penalised for things that they don't think they should get penalised for. Right? If we just let a free-flowing game of rugby get played, international rules, I honestly think I think you're just going to get blown
You
away.
find the big games, your grand finals, your cup finals, your international finals.
Ref differently.
They are ref slightly differently, not by rules, but the referee lets a little bit more go to get more of a free
The
flowing
ref by the
game.
occasion.
Yeah, I agree.
Who is the ref?
The
Liam Moore.
Oh, all right.
The NRL already play to what we're trying to implement, which is a cleaner, quicker ruck, which allows the game to flow freely. If they do that and we perform the way we performed against York compared to the way that Broncos know how to play, it'll be a mauling. Because we'll just give away 10 penalties for interfering at the ruck and they'll give away 0. Because you watch the NRL, the speed and they know how to do it. And how often do you see a holding down penalty? How often do you see messing around in the ruck like that we've seen, not just our game, every week, every game this opening weekend?
What are you saying?
People are going to call me out. People are just going to say, Jimmy's only saying that because he's an FC fan. I honestly think they'll put 40-odd points past you.
Yeah, as long as we put 40-odd more, like...
You're not, though. I think it's going to be like...
But like Warrington, 40-36, I'll take that.
See,
Like, I'm not going to go... I think it's going to be 40-something to you guys will be in the teens. So, like, if I just say 40-10 or whatever, like, yeah.
I can't get the thing out of my mind where the British teams always do well in these games in Britain.
Was it Liam Moore that cheated Wigan into a win a few years ago?
Yes, it was, yeah.
I just remember the days where Saints were at Bolton Stadium playing, Leeds were at Headingley or Ellen Road, and you got Bradford playing at the Calpan, what it was called back then. And I remember these games, and the British teams always seem to run them close or nick a win. And going by that, I can't write you off. I can't have that mind. Although it would be nice just to get you done and dusted and a 40-point win for the Broncos, but I can see you nicking it. And I can see you winning by 2. I don't know. Something's just nagging in my head saying...
Never write off the Robins.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, you're not the Saints, don't.
So I did
up against Walsh, though,
we
on his own.
I know, but you've had Broncos teams coming over with Lockyer. You've had Melbourne coming over here with...
Can't even get a game at London this
and
year.
Billy Slater, and they've been done, so...
Yeah. But we said before we started recording, just for everyone that's watching and listening, we'd said about Rovers bar 2. And I'd said that and you'd put... Now, obviously, I've just said it'll be a Mikey drop goal. So, putting that in, if I had the Mikey drop goal on, I'm going to have to go 81 Rovers. And I do think Reece Walsh will get one, so 81-6. We've seen what we do against these sides. You saw us 2 weeks ago. No, on a realistic note, my head says
You just compared Brisbane to Loch Lane.
We've now just confirmed that we're playing by Super League rules, not international, not a hybrid. So therefore, we'll know what to do because we've just been beat by 1 point. So now we'll flip it around. On a realistic note, my head tells me that we'll end up with something where they score a couple of tries, maybe towards the end, maybe against the run of play, that pull it away, and it'll be 32-18 to them. And we'll feel like we've had a good account of ourselves, but they'll show the class. My heart's telling me that you'll have that magic, just because I feel like we're carrying on from last year's magic. And if I'm going to say bar 1, I'll stick bar 1, so I'm going to go 25-24.
It's either going to be Rovers by 8, my head and heart are arguing, it's going to be Rovers by 8, or it's going to be Brisbane by 26. That's my head and heart.
Rovers are either going to nick it or
Yeah.
Broncos are going to run away with it. Now, I'm betting on a Broncos run away because it just seems the most likely.
And I know I'm
thing
saying 8, and that's a 2-score game, but a last-minute try or something along those lines, or a penalty to take it to 8.
The thing is, as KR fans, how can we not sit here and say, yeah, let's back ourselves and go? You can't. I'm never going to sit here and say the first time I've been in this game, and God knows if we'll get there again. So hard to do, and turn around and go, definitely won't, definitely got a chance. You can't, can you? So
You're leaving before the end again.
no, he's mad for it.
So shall we move on to ours? Because we have got a game this weekend, and him who's just left has got a certain forfeit to fulfil.
Yeah, we're all going, aren't we?
Yeah, there's should be a good trip. We still are yet to get the tickets because I went in today to get them, and Hull FC have sold out their initial allocation for the game, so which is good. Hopefully, a good following. Back in the boys, so I've got to go back tomorrow to buy some tickets when Wigan send some more over.
I'll go.
You can go. I don't know what to expect from the game, if I'm honest. because there's through so many results that we weren't expecting this weekend gone, I don't really know. I know we both got the win, but from what I saw from Wigan, they weren't great. But what I saw from us at times weren't great, and it's that early season thing you can't predict. I know we have to do some predictions, but you can't really predict what's going to happen.
I didn't watch Wigan. I didn't see any of the Wigan game. From what I saw of our game and what I think I should expect from Wigan at Wigan, I can't see us getting a win, personally. But again, like you said, Wigan didn't play very well, so I'm going off of what you said. Who knows? I don't really ever have confidence in us when we've not got Asiata in at 13 or Bell. If we've not got a ball handler in at 13, I don't have confidence.
I hear say there was a friend of ours who was talking to Bell at the fan zone on Saturday afternoon, and Bell said he'd be back for this week. How true that is, I don't know. He said it came from his mouth, but yeah. We've also got Arthur, who should hopefully be back. Cartwright should be back from his protocol. We now know missing Sal. Obviously, we don't know about Asiata, but I think it'll be a close game. I don't think it'll be a walkover for Wigan. I think it'll be a good tough contest.
I think yeah, we'll be better, especially better defensively if Arthur's in.
I think no matter what, hopefully that right edge will have a bit more better understanding of each other.
My worry for you guys, and look, I'm looking forward to coming. You know, the fathers are going to go. It's Craig's forfeit. It'll be in his Rovers gear.
I'm going to take a stance here, and I hope both teams lose.
Yeah, 0-0 draw, please. I would happily go in my Rovers gear as well. People that see us, people that watch the pod, I know what we look like, and you see us come and say hello. But I would, if it wouldn't take away from it being a punishment for Craig. Otherwise, we might as well just go and me and Susan and Craig all dress in Rovers gear.
I know he's going to be in Rovers gear, but with all the comments we get about you from the FC fans on the pod, I think you should at least wear a cap.
No, it's all on him.
I wouldn't have a thing, because genuinely, people don't know whatever. I truly believe that 99% of people that are rugby league fans are not nasty, violent, horrible people. Yeah. I wouldn't expect to have a punch thrown at me or a palm poured over me, and he won't just because he's in a Rovers kit. There'll be banter.
I went in your East stand with an FC top on last season, didn't I? And aside from one woman, it was good banter throughout the entire
thing. We'd had a few too many beers.
Yeah. And I expect it's going to be the same. But onto the actual game, though, is what I was mentioning there. My concern for you, because I did watch the Wigan game yesterday, would be more Wigan attacked with the wrong sort of game plan for most of the game, in my opinion. They tried to go wild on the narrowest pitch in Super League. And then they did manage to catch Cass out eventually, and did score quite a number of tries that probably went a bit... I think the scoreline flattered them in a way. You play how you did against Bradford. I think Wigan have got too much for you, the way they played yesterday. You step it up even 10% and Wigan played the way they did yesterday, you guys have got as good a chance as anybody. The only problem is, I worry for all the players that you're bringing back that haven't had full pre-seasons under them.
Like a Bell, like an Asiata.
Yeah, they worry me for you. And what you said about your weakness on the right edge and some of the defensive mistakes that were made from Barron, from Hardacre, they make them against Wigan. These Wigan players will snap them chances up in an instant. And we need to see Price still with that defensive mindset that he showed.
Yeah.
Do it again, so it's not a one-off, it's not a fluke. Make those try-saving tackles, you know, and be a superstar again. And you've got a good chance than anyone to Wigan, I think.
We've past record, we've bagged 2 wins there last year.
Yeah.
And no one was expecting that. So we'll see. Looking forward to it though. First league away trip of the year.
My first ever FC game on a coach.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, with loyal fans?
Whoa!
No, like at the away games.
What do you mean?
I'll explain to you what happens on a coach is. You go on the coach and there's great banter, but you have a coach monitor who's in charge, and they decide when you leave the game. So at 78 minutes, they might come and knock you on the shoulder and say, "Come on, loyal fans, we need to get on our bus because we're first in the queue."
Is that why you had to leave early?
Yeah, Mason was the coach.
It was literally 30 seconds.
Like, I've gone to 90% of FC away games, probably 95% of FC away games, excluding in France, over the past decade. We've probably longer, 15 years. I've always either driven or gone in Cowardine. Never gone on coach.
I must say as well, I've heard a nasty rumour, that the FC official coaches are very strict alcohol free.
I've heard this, but I was also told by somebody in the club shop last year when I was inquiring about it, then he said he didn't want to go on the coach.
We can go in car.
Drivers do let you on with beer, just be respectful, keep it clean and tidy and things like that. So, but that's not all FC's rules, that's whoever's
the coach,
Acklam's.
Well, that'd be the
like
coaches that we do for most away games for most sport.
So
It's just that we'd heard that FC were particularly strict on it, but
I know they are at football, real strict at football.
Understandably.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, do come and say hello, and obviously you can give him a bit of abuse, but I do think it'll be good-natured like it was when you came to KR.
Yeah.
And looking forward to it. Me and Susan might get some as well, which would be unfair. It's not our punishment, but we're coming to support
No one knows
you.
what Susan looks like.
They'll be stood with us.
Yeah.
Kind of gives it away.
Did Josh not tell you he's put a neon sign that says, I am Susan? Two big arrows.
Fair. Right, so we're going to move on to just a really short bit about Vegas, because we know there's only 2 episodes, and this might be the last episode that people watch before they leave, depending on when you're leaving, if you're going.
Yeah, we're recording next week just before you two travel out, aren't we?
Are we Monday away again?
I think so, yeah.
Next
so
week's
I go
episode,
Tuesday.
because of Vegas and because people might be leaving, I'll try and get it out quicker. If we record on the Monday, if I can get it all edited on the Monday night, I'll try and get it
I
all
want to
out
watch it on the plane,
Monday
come
night.
on.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll try and get it out for everyone. But yeah, we did say we'd give a few tips. What we're gonna do on this video, so it'll be in the synopsis if you're on Apple Music or whatever, or it'll be in the description thing down below on YouTube. We'll put a few links to a couple of like Vegas travel sort of people that we used when we went, or that Dean used that he then told me to use when I went. But yeah, you got some stuff, advice, tips from me. It says on there.
Tips from me. There's 4 people that 4 YouTubers that I watched just to help plan my trip out. James will put all the names in the description. There is at Vegas Starfish, at Norma Gelly, at Lydia in Vegas, but one that
Best one.
Travel Ruby. Just if you're trying to plan your trip or you're looking at things that you can fill time with, go on there. They'll be in the descriptions of the video. So go on them, watch the videos, the shorts. They do shorts as well, videos, and they're real good to catch up on. But just a few tips from us, like if you're first time out there, don't go by. It's expensive. It's a really expensive place, and it's got more expensive over the year, pretty much like everywhere has. If you want to have a drink, don't go buying it from the casino shops. Go to your ABC stores, go to your Walgreens. You can get a beer and you can walk around the strip. You can even take that beer into the casino and sit and gamble with that beer.
It's your knee tablet.
So, I bet it's on time as well, isn't it?
Yeah, half-past.
So do that. Cheap Eats, drink offers, Miracle Mile shops at Planet Hollywood. Best place on the strip for me. Just remember in the US that the sticker price that is priced up at is not the price you're paying VAT on top. Tax on top, should I say.
13%, I think.
And remember to tip. If you like, I'm only going by what I've been and seen, if you like live music, Old Red and Jason Aldean's bar, they're both on the strip as well. They're a really good place to go for live music, pass some time during the day. Fremont, are they doing the Fan Fest down Fremont? I've heard that's brilliant. Obviously, I've never been, but on another day, Fremont's really good for live music. It's a totally different vibe than the strip. It's only like 15 minutes in a cab, but just explore, just enjoy yourselves. But yeah, just have a good time because it's a really good place.
I've got the City Go Pass for 2 days for me and Mason.
Yeah.
Cost me 213 quid. It's got like 45, 48, something like that, mid-40s. Attractions on it that you can go. You just show them your pass on your go. And if you use it,
so much
if you use it quite a lot, you end up
everyone.
saving money. So that makes sense as well.
See, I've budgeted 5 bags a day for my gambling. Is that going to be enough?
I'm not a big gambler, so I wouldn't know.
Ah, okay.
Me neither. That's what people keep saying to me. You're going with a 12-year-old. I'm going with my lad. And people keep saying, but you won't be able to drink, you won't be able to gamble. That's not why I'm going. That's not what this trip's about for me. For me, it's making those memories and watching my team in Vegas.
It's to get our first win of the season, that's what it is.
Well, hopefully that'll be this Thursday, so that won't matter.
James has scribbled out my Jason Aldean's, but there is a Jason Aldean place as well.
Yeah, All Red is Blake Shelton. It's class. It's just opposite the Fountains.
Ah, right.
And the
Yeah,
Bellagio.
I do like it.
There's also something at Resort World as well. It's like
That's where all the teams are as well.
the media thing is at Resort World. It's like they're doing like podcast, like hour-long podcasts there and meet and greets and.
One thing that I'd say, because a lot of what we ate when we went was breakfast. Like, we went mad for breakfast because
Pancake bar, I've already found one.
right. So, Village Bar and Grill, Village Pub or whatever it's called in Ellis Island. Ellis Island looks like a right dive, by the way, and it is. But the Village Bar, Village Pub or whatever it's called, is class.
Inside
and if
it,
you
yeah.
go there, just buy one thing for 2 people. Like, you don't need to buy a meal.
Portions are huge.
And egg slut in the Cosmo.
Expensive, but very nice. Yeah,
Egg
yeah.
slot's brilliant.
So, but
Don't like
like I say,
eggs.
do what you want to do. Just a few little tips from us, but
Yeah.
just enjoy yourselves. It's a great place.
I am gonna push on what Dean just said as well. Make sure you tip. Don't be a tight prick. Like,
We're
it's-
British, we don't tip.
Right. I worked out there, didn't I, in the service industry, right? There'll be people that are working in these restaurants.
Not
that
in Vegas. You did it in Little America.
Yeah, but it's even worse in America. There'll be people in these places that'll be doing 8-hour shifts and they'll get $30 for it.
Get a better job.
If you don't tip, they don't make money. Like, don't be a tight sod. Like, just tip.
I'm going to do what I did on Home Alone. Let's give him a bit chewy. And there's plenty more where that came from.
Yeah,
We need to move on to predictions.
we do.
We don't need to. We can do what we want. It's Kimmy's pod.
No, we can't, because Humberside are ringing me in like 5 minutes.
you-
Oh yeah, Josh is on BBC.
So yeah, first round of predictions done, dusted, in the bag. Couple of shout outs. So since 2025, finished top. So he's got the yellow cap for this week. George Walker scored at 8.5 points, which I thought is quite a decent return.
Shout out to George.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing well,
and
pal.
The wooden spoon goes to Rockin' Robin, which is Tasha Diamond. I didn't actually get to how many points she had because we started recording before I had time.
I think it was 1.
Was it 1? So Tasha, up your game. And
Can I
then
just give a quick shout out to my daughter Chloe, who's just turned 16 this last weekend. She's 5th in the predictions league.
fair play.
Yeah.
Do you
Good
ever
effort.
watch rugby?
And I helped her with her predictions, and I'm 105th.
I'm 57th, I think. So, anyways, give you a quick rundown of our standings between the 5 of us. You've got Jimmy, who's top on 5. Susan, then with 4.75. Then it's myself with 4.5. Then it's Josh with 4. And then it's Dean with 3.5. So,
Stop the count.
Stop the count.
yeah, I can
What's
do
my
that,
forfeit?
yeah.
Forfeit for Dean.
Don't know yet, we've got
bloody
a season.
George Lawler costing me half a point yesterday in the Wigan Cast game.
Really.
Yeah.
Cost me as well.
But yeah, that's a quick rundown of ours. Then on to this week's fixtures. Round 2, obviously one fixture short. Something's happening on Thursday night at the Circle. Over to Odsall, Bradford versus Catalans. Bradford by 4.
Bradford by 4.
Catalan by 8.
I've just put mine in and it's put a bloody advert on, so I can't tell you what I've just selected.
You remember?
No, I just pressed the buttons.
I must admit, I have just wrote 4 of mine now, as we was
Yeah,
at
I've
the
just done all
section.
6 of mine. Yeah, 6 now.
There we go, I got an email. Bradford by 8.
Bradford by 8, and Susan's gone for Catalans by 8. Over to Headingley.
I'm not on my
Short
own.
skip. You are?
I'm not on my own then.
No. Leeds versus York. Leeds are decimated by injuries. I've gone for York by 2.
Leeds by 6.
Leeds by 16.
Leeds by 6.
And Susan's also gone for Leeds by 6.
Oh.
Over to St Helens, Totally Wicked or whatever it's called nowadays. Saints versus Lee. I've gone for Lee by 8.
Lee by 8.
Lee by 7.
Saints by 7.
And Susan's gone for Lee by 6. Away. Stade Ernest Wallon in Toulouse.
Well done.
Yeah, there we go, you see. I mean, easy to pronounce than the English ones.
I don't know if you're right. I'm just saying well done.
I'm sure it's Stade Ernest Wallon or Wallion, one of the two. Toulouse versus Castleford. I've got the home side Toulouse by 8.
So there you've got the home side to lose
No.
by 8.
Home side
To win
To
by-
win. By
Attention, flight 2 to lose. He's boarding at gate 22. I've got Cast by 10.
Toulouse by 4.
I got Toulouse by 14. But that's on the basis that they can actually kick a bloody goal.
Well,
And not
yeah,
hit
he
the
hit the post 3 times, didn't he? Susan has Toulouse by 7. Toulouse to win by 7. Over to
Come on.
DW, Wigan versus
brick.
Hull. A brick, yeah, whatever. I've got Wigan by 10.
Wigan by 8.
Wigan by 8.
Wigan by 4.
And Susan's got Wigan by 18. Ooh. I think that's head over what
Just
he's
see
actually
her
thinking.
celebrating when Wigan bag a last try, something like that.
I wouldn't do that.
No, but
That's when you might get filled in.
It's all fun and games, isn't it? We've played the amateur game. Be
Yeah.
all right. Finally, then, I'm going to take it back because I don't know the actual name of the stadium now. But the
Accu.
Alfred McAlpine Stadium. I'm going with.
Accu.
I don't care. That's not real. Huddersfield versus Wakefield. I've got Wakefield by 20.
Wakey by 10.
Wakey 12.
Wakey 10.
12, 10, and Susan's got Wakey by 8. So across the board on that one. So a few different ones this week.
Just to confirm, Saints is the Brewdog now.
Yeah, but they've gone into administration, haven't they, Brewdog?
Have they?
Sure they have, yeah.
How much did they pay for the bloody sponsorship?
I'm not sure.
McManus has had their pants
He
down.
has, hasn't he? But yeah.
Come on then, let's wrap it up.
Right, so that's it, innit, I think. Schwa, off to you to round us out.
So, as always, want to make sure that we say thank you to our sponsors, and that is to Comscarf, and also thank you to Travel, as always, for letting us come in, housing us, providing us with refreshments, and just in general being a great help to us and the podcast. We always recommend people coming here for good food and drinks, and we do mean it.
That's better than I did it.
New menu as well.
New menu. And also in the Predictions League, if you do well and you get a voucher to come here, you don't want it to be your first experience because you'll kick yourself if you wait all that time. So make sure you get on down.
He's good.
Please remember to
can do it every
like,
week.
subscribe, hype the show on YouTube, and please share an episode with a mate. Let them know what we're all about and just keep spreading the word. You keep viewing, listening, we'll keep talking shit and doing this.
That's my man.
Oh, and we talk
Ironically,
some
I've never
shit.
used it on the podcast, but that's what I always say to people.
Fair. On that note, Josh has got to get off to speak to Umberside, so see you bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.